Hello and welcome to another edition of Toys from the Attic. Last week we took a look at the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Rocksteady action figure. And this week we're going to be taking a look at his partner in crime, Bebop. So without further ado, let's take this guy out of the box and see how he measures up. Alright, so here we have the new TMNT Bebop in his box. That's a little bit of a tongue twister here. Anyways, as far as the blister card packaging goes, it's pretty much your standard new design with the four guys up here, the TMNT logo right up here, and there's really not much else to go on for the front. The back's pretty much the same too. You get a nice display of Bebop right here in a little bit of a concept art form, and you also have a little brief bio here. What's interesting is when I first saw him in his human form on the TV series, I knew instantly he was going to become Bebop. It's because of that mohawk and those glasses, and I'm actually happy that those suspicions were confirmed. You also get a nice display here of some of the other figures coming out in the line. It's nice that we're going to be getting Karai. I'm really looking hard for her right now. Also, I've seen other interviews where if we buy enough of her, they're eventually going to come up with the human version of her because they already said they had the head sculpt. So I really want the human one of her, but if I can, I'll probably settle for this one. But anyways, you get some of the displays of the villains here. You get Baxter, Bebop, and Rocksteady. Well, now, what's interesting about these action figure layouts, or the other ones that they're going to be coming out with, depending on which character you will get a different display. I think instead of Karai on Rocksteady, you have Monkey Brain, and instead of Rat King over here, you have one of the Dream Beavers. I forget which characters switched out with. However, I have seen some of the figures that actually show a display of Muckman and I think Napoleon's other brother, Genghis, which is that fat frog. I'm not really sure why they would make him as an action figure. He doesn't look like he could do much. But Muckman actually looks like he's going to be interesting, so I can't wait to actually snag him up as well. Now, with anything else to say, let's actually open this guy up. Alright, so here we have the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Bebop action figure. Now, there's a lot of things I love about this guy, and surprisingly, very few things I actually hate. He's a real departure from the old original 80s line of the figure, especially in his costume and his overall body. He's not as beefy as the original one, and his suit, rather than being kind of this punk attire, it's more of a techno, almost like a Tron jumpsuit, which is something I really like. Kind of really goes with the name Bebop. Just when I think about that, I think of music and sort of techno music, if anything else. His head sculpt, though, is something that I really, really love. It's very reminiscent of the original 80s line, and so it's a nice blend of the new plus the old. So you could tell it just at a glance that, yeah, this is Bebop upgraded. Now, as far as some of the downside things go, I guess I could point out how he's not as tall as he probably should be in the cartoon, especially compared to the Turtles. However, I'm probably looking at just maybe a little bit of a difference in here. I mean, he's not that actually much taller, not like Rocksteady or Dog Pound in the show. Now, he is lacking a little bit of paint detail on his arms. You can kind of see a little bit of the bumps right in here. I hope the light's catching that. It's kind of hard to pick up on the black plastic. Well, all those little bumps and ridges right in there are actually supposed to be part of his skin, and he's only supposed to have the bare minimum of actually black in here from where I guess his suit ripped apart. However, I actually like his arms being completely black. It just makes it seem like it's part of his actual vest right here, and he actually has some sleeves on. So I'm okay with that. He's actually also supposed to be painted down. His skin's supposed to be painted down here as well. However, just like with his arms, it just makes it seem like the pants actually go up just a little bit higher. Now, he is lacking a little bit of articulation in his wrist right here, which I think he could have probably made him a little bit cooler. But overall, that's just a small nitpick. The other downside to him are actually the weapons. This is something that I'm kind of disappointed with, or something that I've never really liked personally, I should say. He comes with this little tiny grenade and this little tiny, I guess, mine or a little explosive cap, which is kind of nice. If you can kind of see it, there's a little Z on there for Zex, which pays tribute to his original identity. Now, a little blasting cap right here, that actually fits in his hand very well. It's a grenade, though, that actually you kind of have to really spread his hands apart to get it in there, and he doesn't hold it all that well, and I actually just dropped it, which, okay, there it is. I see it on the floor. I'll get it later, but that's another thing. With these little tiny little accessories, they get lost very, very easily, and that's something I've never really been happy with any figure. The other thing too is his arms seem like they're made of a little bit of a stiffer plastic, so if you try to get that grenade in there, you might actually start to cause some stress marks on his fingers and his thumb right there. So I'm probably never going to have him actually hold his grenade, which is why I think he could have used some wrist articulation, so he could have actually just held it in his palm like this, and you wouldn't have to put stress on the actual hand. As far as his articulation goes, I mean, he's dripping with it. I mean, as far as bad guys go, some of them have been lacking, but this one's is actually pretty well. His arms can move up and down. You got this nice joint right here, so you can see the wide range of movements. He has hip articulation. His head can move side to side. And he also has a knee articulation, which means you can kind of get him in some nice crouching poses, which comparing him next to Rocksteady over here, who's lacking in a lot of posability, he kind of makes up for it, and together their pose actually seemed a little bit more dynamic together, so I really like that. All I need now is the Shredder to be right in between them. Now, as far as his gimmick goes, he actually has this little wheel on his back right here and on his feet, which I guess means he can roll around on the ground. I guess that's supposed to simulate how he's able to travel on the light rails in the TV show, but it just seems a little bit weird to me. Also, I feel that you have to have his legs completely straight and the wheels lined up in order to get him to roll fairly good. My table is a little bit has a little bit of a grit to the surface of it, so it kind of hinders some of the rolling. It might do better on a smoother surface and if you have the legs completely lined up. However, it just seems a little bit it just seems like something that was kind of tacked on and really wasn't needed, but it is still kind of appreciated. Overall, I think this guy is a worthy successor to the whole Bebop line, and I'm really happy that I picked him up. I have no regrets with him. Anyways, this has been a look at the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Bebop action figure.
Once again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed what you've seen today, please feel free to like, subscribe, or leave a comment below in the comment section. Any advice for the show will be greatly appreciated. Who knows, something you suggest may appear on the show in the future.